We're moving into an alternating reverse lunge with a twist. So starting at the front of your mat, elbows nice and wide, shoulders down. Reverse lunge. Then you're going to rotate your torso and your arms over the front leg, back to center, and switch sides. We're going to alternate for 45 seconds. On your way up, make sure you drive through that front heel, squeezing the quad and the glute at the top. Again, chest stays nice and tall the entire time. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax back on your mat. We're moving into a squat to good morning. So you're going to place your feet shoulder width apart. Hands are just going to be by the temples, chest pressed, a little bit of tension between your shoulder blades. Reaching back on the hips and the heels, knees over ankles. Stay at the bottom. You're going to press your hips back, straightening your legs a bit, feeling tension in the back of the legs, then driving through the heels, hips forward at the top. We're going to repeat this movement for 45 seconds. So squat down, press the hips back, drive through the heels, hips forward. Try to keep your chest pressed, tension between the shoulder blades the entire time. Focus on belly button drawn in, so you're helping to engage the core and protect the back when you're doing that hip hinge. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. Now that we're warmed up, we're ready to get into the first circuit. We're moving into a lateral band walk. So you'll need that mini band, placing it just above the knees. So you're going to start at one end of your mat, feet shoulder width apart, little sit down, really focus on driving those knees out. You're going to go shoulder width, a little bit wider, back to shoulder width. So you're never bringing your feet closer than shoulder width apart. We're going to go side to side for 30 seconds. Try to keep that chest tall, squeeze the shoulder blades, belly button drawn in. You should always be focusing on pushing your knees outward. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax and remove your band. We're moving into a banded front raise. So you're going to need your mini band, preferably a light one if you have it. You want it just a little bit above the wrist or on your low part of your forearm. You're going to stand comfortable, open your arms up so they're shoulder width apart, palms facing inward. So right away you should feel the outsides of your shoulders engaged, keeping them shoulder width apart, lift up to shoulder height, and return back down. We're going to repeat this movement for 30 seconds. So trying your best to keep your arms shoulder width apart, again, no higher than shoulder width. You want your shoulders pulled down, away from your ears. So you should be feeling this in the outside and the front of your shoulder as you lift up. So this movement is awesome for strengthening the shoulders, but also working on posture and stability within the shoulders, which is really good when we're on the bike. Awesome, time's up. Go ahead and release and relax. We're moving into a single leg press. So you're going to be standing on one leg, lifting the other knee up to a 90 with the hip, flexing the toes to the shins. Take both of your hands just at the top of that knee or right behind the kneecap. We're going to press down for 3 seconds and then release for 3 seconds. So you're working your hip flexors, it's holding your leg up. So push down onto your leg, making sure you're pushing up, resisting for about 3 seconds, and then just release that tension off, still holding the leg up. We'll repeat this for 30 seconds. So at your own pace, press for about 3 seconds, and then release for about 3. Try to find a spot that's not moving to focus on to help you with balance. But really focus on pushing down and pressing against your hands as you push your leg up. All right, switch sides. So gain balance, knee up to a 90, and then 30 seconds, press down for 3, release for 3. Option if it feels too challenging, obviously just push a little bit lighter, or even simply just try to hold your leg up for that full 30 seconds. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving into a posterior squeeze. So you're going to start with your arms just beside your body, elbows at a 90, palms facing each other. I'm going to turn around so you can see. So your first goal is to pull your shoulder blades down and then squeeze them together while holding them down and then release. We're going to repeat this movement for 30 seconds. So pull down as hard as you can, pause, and then squeeze together as hard as you can, pause, and then release. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax, back on your mat. We're moving into a deadlift. So you're going to need dumbbells, probably your mid to heavy set, putting your feet hip distance apart. Micro bend in the knees, weights right tight to your legs. Press your chest forward and squeeze your shoulder blades. Driving the hips back, letting the weight slide down your legs without rounding the spine. So keep that chest pressed. When you feel tension in the back of the legs, drive through those heels, hips forward at the top. We're going to repeat this movement for 30 seconds. So tuck your chin down to your chest, protecting your neck, keeping it neutral. Again, flat back, squeeze the shoulder blades. At the top, when you drive through those heels and press your hips forward, you want to squeeze your glutes. So you're feeling the back of your legs and your glutes at the top. Awesome. Okay, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving into a hip hinge reverse fly. So you're going to place your feet hip distance apart, micro bend in the knees. Drive your hips back without increasing the bend. And as you push your hips back, you want to let your chest come facing the ground. Arms are going to be down in front of your body, just with a micro bend in the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades together so your chest is pressed. Now that we're in the set position, you're going to bring those arms out wide to the side, keeping that small bend in the elbows. Stop when they're in line with your body, and then slowly release back down. We're going to repeat this movement for 30 seconds. Make sure you stay looking down at the ground in front of you, chin tucked to the chest, neutral neck, belly button drawn in. Definitely okay to go lighter on your weights as we're working a small muscle just in the back of the shoulder. Also focusing on squeezing the shoulder blades at the top. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax, back on your mat. We're moving back into the lateral band walk. So grabbing that mini band, placing it just above the knees, one side of your mat to start, 60 seconds. So small steps, feet never coming closer than shoulder width. Again, heavy heels, light toes, hips back. Good, if you ever need a second, you can kind of stand up a little bit, shake the legs out, and then come back down. Just watch as you get more tired that your knees don't start to cave in. Push them out the entire time. All right, time's up. Go ahead and stand up and take off the band. We're moving back into the banded front raise. So just on the low part of your forearms, stand comfortable, shoulder width apart. We're gonna raise and lower for 45 seconds. So keeping your shoulders pulled down, away from your ears. Focus on a smooth, controlled movement. If you ever need a second, you can bring those arms in so they're not quite as wide. Do 1 or 2 reps and reopen them up, shoulder width apart. Keeping chest pressed, squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit. Awesome, time's up. Go ahead and relax and release. We're moving back into the single leg press. This time you're gonna go 45 seconds each side. So knee up to the 90, press for 3, release for 3. So push down, push against your hands, and then release for about 3 seconds. So remember, your option is to apply less pressure. Just hold the leg up, or if you need to at any point, set it down for a second and bring it back up when you're ready. All right, time's up on that side, so go ahead and switch. Knee up, find balance, and when you're ready. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving back into the posterior squeeze. So again, arms at a 90, turn it around so you can see. This time, 45 seconds. Shoulder blades down, and then squeeze together, and then release. Try to hold down for a second, squeeze together, and then release. So think about sliding your shoulder blades down your back and then squeezing them together as much as you can. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving back into the deadlift. Place the feet hip distance, weights on your legs. We're gonna go for 1 minute. Hips back, slide the weights down, feel tension in the back of the legs, then drive through those heels, hips forward at the top. Remember, on a deadlift, it's not about going down super far. As long as you drive your hips back and keep pushing them back, you can load the hamstrings properly, even just going down to your knees. Don't forget, tuck the chin down to the chest so that neck stays neutral. Keep squeezing between your shoulder blades the entire time, right from the start, all the way through the down, and all the way back up. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving back into the hip hinge reverse fly. Feet hip distance apart, hips back, and hinge over. We're going for 45 seconds. So again, just keeping that small bend in the elbows, nice and controlled on the way up and on the way back down. Try to make sure that chest is facing the ground, so the more upright you are, the more we're gonna work the traps. And our goal is to work the back of the shoulder and into that mid-back. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving into crossovers. You're going to lie back on your mat, relaxing your upper body and pressing your back down. Straighten your legs, pointing your toes. You're going to alternate which one goes over and under for 30 seconds. So the further up you go, the easier. The closer to the ground, the harder. So just pick somewhere that works for you. Again, not letting your back pop up. Constantly press it down into the mat. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax, back on your mat. We're moving into plank hip dips. So you're going to be planking on your forearms. You want your elbows right underneath your shoulders. Balls of your feet, tuck your hips down, really focus on drawing the belly button in. You're going to drop one hip towards the mat, then come back up and switch to the other side. So back and forth for 30 seconds. You don't have to dip it down all the way, just enough to really feel that oblique working to come back up. If you feel like your low back is starting to go, tuck the tailbone under, really focus on squeezing the glutes. Option, drop down to the knees, doing the same thing side to side as well. Awesome, time's up. Go to relax, back on your mat. We're moving into clamshells with the mini band. So you're going to place it on just above the knees, and then you're going to lie down on your side, elbow underneath the shoulders. So you want your heels, your butt, and your shoulders all in line, so your knees are cut in about a 45-degree. Stacking your feet, opening up, squeezing the side of the glute, and then nice and controlled on the release. We're going to go 30 seconds each side. So open, focus on squeezing the side, and keep it controlled on the way back down. Making sure that you're staying over on the hip just so you're not leaning back with it. You're staying right on top of that hip, so you're really making the side of the glute work. All right, that side's done, so go ahead and flip over. 30 seconds. Again, knees cut in about a 45, squeezing the side and release. All right, time's up. Go ahead and remove your mini band and relax back on your mat. We're moving into scissor kicks with a band. So placing your mini band just above the knees, and then you're gonna lie back on your mat. So relaxing the upper body, pressing your back down into the ground. Start with your legs straight out from the hips, as straight as you can. You want a little bit of tension on the band, and then you're gonna alternate with one leg lower, one leg higher, and then switch for 30 seconds. Keeping your back pressed down, your toes flexed to your shins. So you're gonna feel your hip flexors, you're gonna feel your core a lot as well. You might even feel those quads as you're pulling against the band with that straight leg. So try to keep tension as you switch, but also enough space between your legs so there's constantly tension on that mini band. All right, time's up. Go to relax, remove the band, and relax back on your mat. We're moving into Cobra Swims. So you're gonna be on your belly, on your mat. Legs are relaxed out behind. Head is looking straight down. So chin tucked down to the chest, hovering above the ground. You're gonna start with your arms on the back of your head. Then you're gonna open wide, squeezing the shoulder blades down and back, extending the arms out behind, and really finish by squeezing the shoulder blades as hard as you can. Then coming up, bending the elbows, placing the hands back on the head. We're going to do this movement for 30 seconds. Keeping the chin tucked down to the chest so the neck stays neutral. So shoulder blades down and then back squeezed together. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax. Back on your mat. We're moving back into crossovers. Lying on your mat, straighten those legs out, point the toes, press the back down, 45 seconds. Again, depending on the angle of your legs is how challenging or easy it's going to be. So lower is harder, and then higher is easier. Make sure you are challenging yourself, really feeling the core. Again, you also might feel those hip flexors as you hold your legs up. Awesome, okay, time's up. Go ahead and relax. We're moving back into plank hip dips. So planking on your forearms, elbows underneath the shoulders, pressing up, this time 45 seconds. So tucking the hips under, squeezing the glutes, rolling one hip down and back up. Try to keep those elbows right underneath the shoulders. and always come back to neutral or set before you dip the other hip. Remember that option. Drop down to the knees, still going side to side, still tuck the tailbone under and squeeze the glutes just so you're nice and supported. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax, back on your mat. We're moving back into clamshells. So placing the mini band just above the knees. This time we're gonna go 45 seconds each side. So elbow underneath the shoulder, cutting those knees in about a 45, stack the feet, open, squeeze, and release back down. Again, 45 seconds. So constantly think about the side of the glute working to open and nice and controlled. So keep it under control on the way back down. All right, switch sides. So elbow underneath the shoulder, 45 seconds. Staying right on top of that hip. Awesome, okay, time's up. Go ahead and take off the mini band and relax. We're moving back into scissor kicks with a band. So placing that mini band just above the knees, take a lay back. This time we're going for 45 seconds. Press your back down and alternate. Remember keeping enough space so you have tension pressing out against the band, but also enough distance between the legs so there's constantly tension being placed against that band. Feeling your core, hip flexors, maybe even the quads. Doesn't have to be a fast movement, just switching one at a time. If you start to feel your back popping up, just press it down again, reset, and then go. All right, time's up. Go ahead and remove the band, and then relax back on your mat. We're moving back into Cobra Swims. So you're on your belly on the mat. Leg extended out and behind, just comfortable. So chin tucks down to the chest, hovering above the ground, hands at the back of your head. This time we're going for 45 seconds. So squeezing the shoulder blades down and then together as hard as you can with a pause. So just move at your own pace. Focus on a slow, controlled movement the entire time. Constantly focusing on the shoulder blades, down and then back together. All right, time's up. Go ahead and relax, back on your mat.